Weekends are the worst. Children in bed, apartment tidy, laundry folded. There is no one to cuddle with, says Agata, a divorcee, and mother of 2 daughters. Single parents prefer to be referred to as independent. Trying to raise a child alone is an effort for which they pay a considerable price. A single person raising a child is, among others, unmarried, unmarried widower, widow, divorcee, divorcee, or a person who has been separated. According to the latest data, every 4th family is created by a single parent. For Agata, a divorce from her husband meant more than taking the wedding ring off her finger. I knew that the ex-husband would not want to participate in raising children. Everything fell on me, she recalls the first months after the divorce. It was hard. With the help of her parents and in-laws, Agata quickly got back on her feet. I have a job, friends, and children who are my biggest motivator in life. The 33-year-old evaluates his present life. And although Agata does her best to replace the children's father, she also has weaker days. I have cried into my pillow many times, but never in front of my children. I know they would be very concerned. I have to protect them, he confesses in an interview. Does it use state aid? Social assistance is insignificant. There were times when I took extra orders. Without them, I would not be able to live with 2 children in a big city. This explains the reality of a single parent. 1. If someone had told me 5 years ago that I would be left alone with 2 children, I would have laughed in their faces. I didn't think my marriage would only last 5 years. And I didn't even feel that my husband would cheat on me. I loved him. I believed he loved me too. The first crisis came after the birth of the first child. I gave myself entirely to my daughter. He was drowning in work. The second child appeared 2 years later. Today I know that we made this decision too quickly. What should have united our family has divided it even more. 2. I disappeared from the labor market for 4 years. During my maternity leave, my employer liquidated the branch where I worked. I was left without a job and with a significant gap in my CV. I was financially dependent on my husband. We argued about everything, not just money. He thought I was extravagant, and I regretted not helping with the children. He was taking more and more overtime, and I was looking for work without success. Finally, the girls went to kindergarten and began getting sick. I was tired of washing, cleaning, and giving medicines to whining children. 3. I felt our marriage was on the line. We didn't talk to each other. We slept separately. I suggested therapy. The husband refused. He said a psychotherapist would not change anything because he no longer loves me. He filed for divorce. During the divorce hearing, I found out he had someone. He fell in love with a friend from work. Today, she bears his last name. The court found him guilty. He also ordered visits from his daughters. 2 weekends a month and a few days during holidays and holidays. I knew that the ex-husband would not want to participate in raising the children. Everything fell on me. 4. I've cried into my pillow a few times, but never in front of my kids. I know they would be very concerned. I have to protect them. The first year after the divorce was terrible. While my ex-husband was building a life with his new wife, I ran from the employment office to the kindergarten. Finally, I managed to get an internship at an international corporation. After 6 months, I got a contract for a year. If it wasn't for my parents and in-laws, I wouldn't be able to do my job. I could always count on their help, especially after the divorce, when one of my daughters was sick, and I couldn't take a more extended leave from work. 5. For several years my life has revolved around a constant rhythm. First, I get up at 5:30 and prepare breakfast for the children. Then, at 7 a.m., I take my daughters to kindergarten and school. Finally, I'm at work at 8 o'clock. Sometimes, the children will be picked up by the mother-in-law and sometimes by my mother. Then I have time after work to do some shopping. I spend the afternoons doing homework with my older daughter. Evenings are spent watching cartoons and reading books together. By 9 p.m., the girls are in bed. By 10 p.m., she's preparing dinner and clean clothes for the next day. Finally, I fall asleep at 11 p.m. with a book in my hand. 6. Social assistance is insignificant. There were times when I took extra orders. Without them, I couldn't live with 2 children in a big city. And I still have no right to complain. After the divorce, I stayed in our apartment. I don't pay my mortgage, but galloping inflation has also entered my wallet. Children grow with their fees and expenses. An increase in rent or food in the kindergarten of a younger child is just the beginning of the growing cost of living. I cover the costs of health care, extracurricular activities, and holidays myself. The husband only pays alimony. This is where his participation in raising children ends. 7. Weekends are the worst. Kids in bed, kitchen tidy, laundry folded. There's just no one to hug. It's been several years since the divorce, and I haven't even had a date. For a moment, I thought I had met a worthy man. But the idea of living in patchwork wasn't very appealing to him. I must admit that I also cannot imagine someone replacing my children's father. They rarely see the biological. He sticks to the court's ruling. He never proposed an additional date for visits. It's a shame because the girls really miss him. It's also sad that he won't think of me either. I am a mother and an ex-wife who also has the right to rest from time to time. 8. I have a job, friends, and children who are my biggest motivator in life. Yet, I often wondered if there was something wrong with me. Why did my life turn out this way? Don't my children deserve a happy home? I wouldn't say I like being called a single mother. But, like everyone else, I am a single parent with good and bad days. I also make mistakes that I hope will be forgiven by my children one day. 9. I'm not looking back today. I have come to terms with the past. I live in the moment. 100%, I dedicated myself to children. But, of course, it's hard. Sometimes you want to shout out to the whole world the anger accumulated in you for so many years. But you cannot. You are a mother and father-in-one for your children, so you can't let them down. I hope to raise my daughters to be strong and smart women. And that they will find a love in life that I don't have time for yet. I want someone to hug me in the evening and tell me they are proud of me and that I can do it. Alone.